Hello and welcome to Am Writing Fantasy. My name is Jesper. Today we are going to look a bit at Goodreads, and this is going to be part one of a video series where I'll explore using Goodreads as a book marketing tool, but without spending a single dollar on advertisement. Without, yeah, that's right. I don't know how long this series of videos will actually become. I suppose it all depends on how quickly I arrive at a conclusion as to whether or not Goodreads is a social media platform relevant for the use of authors, or if it's only a place where readers really should be hanging out. I did get some feedback from Reddit, which said that authors should stay far, far away from Goodreads. But I don't know. I'm stubborn, perhaps, but if you can call it that. But I still want to test it out. There is so many readers on Goodreads, so I really am curious if we sort of can tap into that as authors and maybe get some new readers and increase our book sales that way. The other reason why I want to do this recording of videos and share my efforts with you is that I'm basically starting from scratch on Goodreads, more or less. I did create my account. I don't remember, like maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I'm not sure anymore, but the point is that I haven't really done anything with that account. It just sits there. I've posted a few times, and Autumn and I did create also quite a while back an account, or sorry, a group on Goodreads, but we haven't really done that much with it either. A few posts, as I said, but that's it. So at the moment, I have only 23 followers on Goodreads, and I have what Goodreads tell me is 1,505 unique users who have added my books to their to be read list. So all in all, that's really not a lot. So it's not 100% starting from scratch, granted, but pretty close to it. So I think this will be a good experiment because it sort of simulates reasonably well how you could potentially use Goodreads if you are starting with nothing, basically as a new author maybe, or if you are an existing author and haven't really used Goodreads at all. So let's see how this goes. And I'm also not going to leverage any other means of directing people to Goodreads, meaning that I'm not going to email our email list of readers telling them to go and check out this Goodreads activities that I will be doing. I'm not going to, use other means to get people to engage with me on Goodreads. So I'll just do the things on Goodreads and then see what happens. So this might work well, or it might be a complete disaster. I don't know. But for the sake of this video series, I'm going to test it out. Now, there is a few things I want to try. According to Goodreads' own advice, readers want authors on Goodreads to write book recommendations. And since I'm reading books anyway, well, why not? I'll do that for sure. But I'm not going to start reading books just for the sake of writing a review on Goodreads. I will review the books that I'm reading because of enjoyment. So whenever I'm done with a book, I'll review it on there, and then we'll see if that does anything. Goodreads themselves also say that one should be posting general updates to stay in front of readers, and they say that the frequency should be like 3 to 5 times a week. I have to admit I can't commit to that. That's way, way too much time consumption. But once a week, I'll try that and see if that works. And then I do realize that might limit my results, but so be it. I'll live with that. We still have to do other things in our life, right? We can't sit on Goodreads all the time, and I have other things to do, and I'm sure you do too. So let's see if it works with a more limited amount of posting on there. It's also advisable to share blog posts on Goodreads, and it just so happens that Autumn and I will be starting a fiction blog on amreadingfantasy.com. Not am writing fantasy, but I am reading fantasy. You see how that works? It's pretty neat, isn't it? But I will share any new blog posts that we write for amreadingfantasy.com and put them on Goodreads and then see if that helps anything. Then we have Goodreads discussion boards, which I've never used those at all before, but it should be pretty similar to Facebook groups. So I'll find some relevant ones and then I'll start posting and interacting in those groups. And I don't know if that leads to anything at all, but that's why we run this experiment. We'll see what happens. I also know that you can add your own book to other people's top reading lists on Goodreads. And it works the same as Reddit, more or less, in the sense that people will then be upvoting or downvoting your book on that list. And then in turn, you sort of move up or down the list depending on how many votes you get. And obviously, the higher you are on the list, the more visibility and potentially more book sales. But I have to say, I am not planning to test this out. As I said earlier, I'm starting from scratch with Goodreads, and I know for a fact that it will be difficult to rank on those lists unless you have a lot of followers already on Goodreads who will then go in and vote for you. So I just think that this will be a time waste for me to try to put Autumn and my book on a list, and then nobody will see it anyway. Nobody will vote on it anyway, since I have, like, what did I say, 11 followers or whatever on Goodreads. So yeah, waste of time probably. Ultimately, of course, I do need to track my progress to see if these efforts actually lead to anything. And there's a few different ways of doing this, but the only logical way I can see is to see if my follower count increases and whether or not I'm getting more users to add my books as to their reading lists, basically. So if I can increase those numbers I said before, like I have 23 followers, if I can increase that by being active on Goodreads, and also the 1,505 people who already added my books to their reading list, if I can increase that number as well, then it's safe to assume at least that something is happening. Obviously, it needs to translate into book sales. So what I will be doing is try to see if, like, our baseline book sales actually increase or not. So I'll report back on progress as we proceed with this experiment over time and record some more videos for you with the results. But in the meantime, wish me luck and stay safe out there.